This is going to be our practice. So when you do your own drawing, this is what it's leading up to. You're going to do your own drawing, and you're just doing some practice with me in class. You're going to do your own drawing and then use the inspiration board you did to kind of fill this room with images of furniture that you like, pictures of furniture that you like, ceiling lights, light fixtures, carpet. You have the option, Art 1, of doing this one in color if you wish. Because I asked you over the break to get a set of colored pencils. If you haven't done that, at least put the order in. If you're going out to the stores, then be careful. Maybe hit like a Hobby Lobby or Michael's if you got one of those.
Miss Hunter,
Yes?
do they have the ones that you want us to get on Amazon?
I'm not sure if they still have that, but it could be any brand that's decent. At least have 24 colors. The ones that I recommended was the very affordable and good quality Amazon Basics. So Amazon's getting into the business now of making products and their own stuff. And the Amazon Basics colored pencil has, there's been some really good reviews on that, and they're very affordable. So I think the set of 24 pencils was like $9.99. So see if they're in stock. And if they're not, get something comparable, similar, or get at least Crayola. Crayola is a company that makes quality things. They're not just kiddie stuff. You have the option of doing this in colored pencil if you wish. Art 2s are going to definitely be shading in colored pencil, so I'll be looking for shading, not just filling in with color. Art 1s, you haven't had color theory yet, so if you just kind of fill it in with color, I can understand. But try to think about how you could create shade, and I'll show you how you can do that. We have not gotten into color theory like officially, so it's okay if we make some mistakes with that. So at least 24 colors, students. That'll give you, at least, some really nice little optional colors besides just the basics, just primary and secondary colors. You want at least 24 so you can have some, fun colors that you can also use. Okay. And yeah, Target has it, like Kylie mentioned. Walmart has colored pencils. Just make sure anything but the dollar store. Those colored pencils. Bleh, bleh. Don't get the dollar store colored pencils. I love dollar store. Love it. I'm an art teacher. They are my friend, but their colored pencils really suck. That's all there is to that. Okay. Okay. I get everything for like those containers and stuff, but not colored pencils. That's no. Okay, and I'm gonna go real slow, just kind of ease us back into drawing mode.
Do we need to have a ruler or just a straight edge?
Just a straight edge. I'm gonna make it so that you don't need any specific measurements. And I'm going to show you the tricks that I use to get specific measurements if you don't have a ruler. So when we're holding our paper the long landscape way, I want you to draw a line, a horizon line in the middle of the paper going straight across. So the way to do that without a ruler, and sometimes a ruler is kind of fussy, is to take the top and bottom ends of the paper and line them up so that they're right on top of each other. And then don't fold the paper, just crease the paper on the left side with your finger or your fingernail. That, and on the right side, just on the very ends, not in the middle, so that when you open it up, you have two sharp creases on the very left and right sides. You could do that in your sketchbook too, by folding up the one edge and just lining it up the best you can with the top edge of the paper, which is going to be like the crease in the middle of your book where the two pages come together. And then you just put a little tick mark with pencil right where that sharp crease has been created, like that, and that's your marker. And then take a straight edge. It could be a piece of paper, it could be a packet of paper like this. Take whatever you have that's a straight edge and just draw a line straight across. Okay? Like that. That's all. And that's how folding the paper can kind of help you get the approximate middle of the paper.
You did this on the folded paper,
I
right?
did it on the fold, yeah. So the line is on the fold. All right. We are doing a 1-point perspective, and we're setting up our paper for that. Okay? So let's say you have a sketchbook like this. All you have to do is hold it the long way like this, and take the edge, and you just fold it up like that. You can fold it. It's all right if it's creased. That's okay. If it's easier, and then you could just mark it along the fold. And then, but you're gonna have to kind of open up your sketchbook and hold it open, or turn it under if it's possible. I have a ring bound, so it's a little easier to kind of fold the cover under. But back to here. Let's get back on track here. So once you have this, what should you do? Put a dot approximately in the center. If you're the type of person who's like, I need to have it exactly in the center, then what you could do is just fold the paper in the other direction, like this. Line up the two edges and fold just in the middle, make a crease, open it back up, and you see this nice little crease in the middle. Well, right where the crease is and on the horizon line, I want you to put a black dot right there. And that's going to be your vanishing point 1. The title of this piece is going to be Room in 1-Point Perspective. So we're going to learn how to draw a decent, realistic, 3-dimensional looking interior. So we need to set up our room. So the first thing that we're going to draw is the back wall of our room. R2s, you're also doing this because you need the practice and you need to refresh your memory here. We're going to draw it just by hand. We're just going to do a little rough sketch. Just sketching everything first and then go over it with your ruler or your straight edge. If you make the back of your wall really like a tall skinny triangle, this room is going to look like a hallway, like a really narrow hallway. So you don't want that because you can't fit a lot of furniture into that kind of a shaped room. The best type of room would be like more of a cube, like the inside of a cube space, or maybe even a rectangle so that it's nice and wide and you can have, a couple pieces of furniture in there. So I'm just kind of playing around with my rectangle and seeing how big I want to make it. You should make the rectangle maybe 1/3 of the size of the paper. So that's just kind of a rough estimate about how big this rectangle should be. It could be it could be centered. That would be good to do if you can get it centered. You can have half of it above the horizon line, half of it below, or you can have a little bit more above the horizon line. It doesn't matter, because that means if you have more of the rectangle above the horizon line, that means you're going to show more of the floor, which is good because most people don't have anything interesting going on the ceiling. So if it's a bathroom, most bathrooms are not like humongous unless you are some sort of really famous pop star, Chris Brown, Drake, whoever you like. If you're like, ew, not them, then pick somebody else. But let's just imagine. I'm just thinking of Architectural Digest. And Mr. Hahn brought home a magazine, and it showed Drake's mansion in like Canada. And my goodness, his bathroom was so incredibly glitzy. It like there's so many mirrors and glass. You would need like a truckload of Windex to clean his house. That's what you would need. One of the interesting features of one of his rooms was he had a recording studio room, but it had a round bed and had these microphones, so he could actually record while he's chilling out in bed or laying or lounging. It's like a round, upholstered, looked like a bed, but it's just a really interesting, unique piece of furniture. But that would be kind of hard. You're singing, but then you're so comfortable you might fall asleep. Just make some of my lines a little darker so you can see. So I want you to draw a little dot at every corner of this rectangle. Just a point. One here, one here, one here, one here. Okay? Now what we're going to do is proceed to draw the ceiling, the two walls, and the floor. So how do we do that? This is the part where most people do not pay attention and mess it up. What they do wrong is connect these points to the corner of your paper. Wrong because this rectangle may be a different rectangle than the rectangle of your paper. So those dimensions are not going to match. So what you have to do is line up your straight edge, one end to vanishing point 1, and then line it up over here a little bit below it with the corner of the rectangle. Do not draw a line on the inside of the rectangle. I repeat, do not draw a line on the inside of this rectangle, but do continue drawing that line on the outside, like that. Same thing with the other side. If you match up the vanishing point 1 with the corner of the rectangle and draw a line on the outside of the rectangle, now what you have is the floor. So you've drawn the floor. Let's draw the ceiling and the side walls. So you're going to do the same thing with the vanishing point 1 in the upper left hand corner. Do not draw in here because you're going to have to erase it. So why bother? Just don't draw inside the rectangle. And then do this. On the right side, same thing. Okay. So now you can clearly see that the lines do not go to the corner of your drawing paper, because that is not it. These lines here, these angles reflect the dimensions of this rectangle, not the rectangle of your drawing paper. Okay, so now you have the inside of what looks like an empty box, and you are in the box looking at the back wall or one of the walls. So let's make some windows. So we're going to work from kind of like the outside in. Okay, so let's talk about the structure here. We need to open some windows because having windows it's a luxurious thing. It's also a healthy thing to have air, the ability to open up a window, have air circulate. So let's draw a window. Let's do something a little different from period 2. And let's have a window here on the right side. Let's do a rough sketch. So let's say we want a window like right here. There should be plenty of wall all the way around the window. I'm going to move the window over a little bit here, make it look less skinny. There's different shaped windows of every size and dimension, depending on where they're trying to fit in a window. But if it's overly skinny, it might look a little bit weird when it looks like you have plenty of wall there. So I'm going to keep it away from the corner. You don't want a window to be right up against the corner of a room. That looks kind of weird. There's normally like 30 inches between the floor and the bottom of your window. The window is kind of usually at like your, waist level, maybe a little bit higher. Okay, so that's about the proportion that I like. You can make a really big window if you want. It's up to you. So I'm going to go over my sketch lines with the straight edge and just clean them up. And everything that's on or against the back wall is so close to this vanishing point that we're just going to use vertical and horizontal lines only. You don't use vanishing point lines too much at all against the back wall. Anything against the back wall, you're just purely using vertical and horizontal lines. Okay? So just clean up the shape of your window. That's what we're doing. And I want everyone to just kind of get right here to the point where I am, making the window and making it look nice and clean. Okay. So a window is usually not like just a hole cut into your wall, right? And your wall is just not one layer. It's actually pretty thick. There's a layer of drywall, then there's like an empty space, and in that empty space there's like a wooden framing, which is basically the skeleton of the house, which is made up of 2x4s. And then beyond that is like another exterior. It could be drywall, it could be something else, and then on top of that there's siding, and there's all kinds of like insulation and stuff like that in between. So it's complicated. There's a lot of things that go on into building the structure of a home. But what I'm mentioning this for is that it does reflect also on the inside. So what we want to do for right now is to draw a frame around the window. So not to make the window look too big, I'm going to draw the line on the inside like that. And basically you're going to draw what looks like a picture frame around your window. Okay. Some of you might have a window sill, which is like a little piece of wood that juts out so that you could actually lay something on top of it. And that may look just like this. Just like a little bar. That's a little wider. You could show it this way, make it a little wider than the window. On the bottom. This is where these little wedge erasers can be a little handy like that. Okay. The windows have to open. How do you find the exact center of a square or a rectangle? What you do is you do crisscross. So on the inside, you crisscross corners like this, just with a light line. Right through that X, I'm going to, or on either side of that X, I'm going to draw a horizontal line and then another one. And that's where the two like separate pieces of glass kind of overlap each other. This is the kind of window that you can push up and to open up. And then right above that X, I want you to draw like a half moon circle. So I'm going to do a little close up for you so you could see. So I want you to do that. So basically that's that little lock that locks the window so that you can't push it open or, nobody can open it. If you want a windowsill and it's against the back wall, this is what it's going to look like. Just draw a little skinny rectangle underneath your window. and just have it go a little bit further to the left and right of the sides of the window. And there you go. You have your windowsill. Sometimes there's some kind of a structure underneath that windowsill that some of you might see. There might be some sort of little thing that holds that little shelf up or caps it off. So there's usually lots of structure under and around windows. That's why replacing windows is like so expensive. It's like anywhere from $600 to $1,000 if you want to get your windows replaced. So when you get to be older and you become a homeowner, you could look forward to spending major money on your windows if you ever need to replace them or to fix them. Because windows are really expensive. Think of what you could buy for $1,000 and then think about spending it on a window. It's very tearful. Okay. To make the window look like it has glass in it, this is just a little designer's trick. A lot of people like to draw these little diagonal lines here. Maybe some shorter ones on the outside and some longer ones on the inside, something like that. And that just tells the person that there's glass in the window. And the glass is flat. It's not like a bubble. It's not like, curvy or anything like that. It's just a flat pane of glass. So those little diagonal lines, that's what they mean. So let's draw a window on this side, and it's going to be slightly different from drawing a window on the back wall. Okay? Or we could draw, let's do something different. Let's draw the window. Let's say you're in a room that's up against the outside of the house on this side. So let's draw a window on this side. So I'm just going to figure out where I want that window and just do like a little rough sketch of it. Remember the middle line where that goes? Okay. So let's say I want the window, and then the vanishing point line is probably going to be an angled line like that. So I'm just drawing it freehand, kind of like going like this and thinking, okay, so the window's probably going to be shaped kind of like a trapezoid, like this on the side. Do I like that? Yeah, I kind of like that window. I think I'm going to go with that. So now what I'm going to do is go over the lines with a straight edge. Okay. And then I'm going to use the vanishing point right here in the center of my paper to draw the bottom of my window. Okay, just like you drew the bottom of this wall, you're going to draw all horizontal lines as vanishing point lines. Okay. Okay. Okay, is everyone okay so far? Okay. It's a little bit trickier in this case because you see this side of the window, this edge right here is closer to us than this edge. So when we draw the framing around the window, it has to look thicker on this side and skinnier on that side. Does everyone understand why? Because spaces and the sizes of things just get bigger when they're closer, right? Objects get bigger when they're closer to you. So let's draw the framing for the window, and we'll do it on the inside here. So we'll make it about that thick on this side, the leading edge, the edge that's closer to us. And then we just need to make sure that we draw it thinner looking on the side that's going away from us. like this. There's no exact formula, just make it look skinnier. And then these two lines, the spacing has to go from like thicker to thinner. And the way that you do that is you use vanishing points, and that will help you to do that. Okay. Use a vanishing point down here too, like that. Okay, now this window here looks really, really flat, like it's a sticker pasted onto the wall. How can we make this look more three-dimensional? We can do that if we draw the thickness of the molding, of the, you know, the little piece of trim that goes around the outside of the window. And in order to draw that, what we have to do is just draw a horizontal line, just a line that goes straight across. But make the line really, really short. So this is what I mean by that. That little line right there, you see how short that is? And that line. We could probably make it a little bit, you know, shorter. But since I just want to make it more visible, in this case, I'm just going to make it a little bit, little thicker looking. All right, so now I'm going to draw another vertical line that's parallel to this, and the window looks almost like a flat screen TV, right? So if you wanted to put a flat screen TV there, you could put a flat screen TV there, but for our purposes right now, it's a window. To find the center of the window, we're going to crisscross applesauce, okay? And that's going to help you to find kind of the center point on this, in this rectangle. So the center point line is right there. So we're going to use vanishing points and draw two lines to show where the two panes of glass are overlapped, and that little bar near the lock. Here we go. And we also can put our little lock right there. Just kind of show the side of the lock. Okay. Like that. You see how it looks more three-dimensional now? Just erase any stray marks. Oh, I forgot. We have to draw those 45-degree lines on the corners. So just connect the corners like that. Now that looks more realistic. So I just drew these little diagonal lines that connect the corners together. Okay. So chances are this window, I mean, to make it even look more realistic, windows are like cut into building material. And buildings, your walls on the outside of your house and on the inside are pretty thick. There's like a piece of drywall, and then there's like framing, which is made out of wood 2x4s. That's kind of like the skeleton of the house. And then in there, they sometimes put this fluffy stuff called insulation. And then on the outside of the house, they might have more of this kind of drywall type of material, but it's like formulated for the outside. And then they might have shingles on the outside of the house, or whatever the exterior material you see on the outside of the house. So I'm not a builder, I'm not an architect, but these are the things you might see when you go past someplace that's being built, okay? But when they do install a window, they install it into the house. Sometimes it's like flush against the house, other times you kind of see the thickness of the house on the outside. And that, you know, building material could be like that could be brick on the outside, or it could be stucco, whatever. But that makes the window look like it's set into the building. Okay, so that's that. We got a window here, we got a window there. What else? We need a floor. We need a floor. We might want a closet somewhere. So let's put a doorway right over here. Doors go all the way down to the ground, right? But above a door, you also have some drywall, some wall. So the door shouldn't go all the way to the ceiling. That would look really weird. So let's leave some, like the same amount of space as the windows. And use a vanishing point 1 line to draw the top of the doorway. Like that. Okay. Now, so what we did was we drew a doorway. That doorway could go into your own personal bathroom. It could go into the hallway that connects your room to the rest of the house, or it could go into a closet. Okay, so we could draw a closet or we could draw a hallway. But whatever the case, we're going to make this floor look like it's going to continue into whatever that space is. So we're going to erase this line right here on the bottom of the doorway. And right where this vanishing point line meets this vertical line, I'm going to draw a line that is horizontal, like that. Now it looks like, whoa, now it looks like, you know, it's 3-dimensional, and we see like the hallway or something, the beginnings of a hallway, right? Also, for the top, you can do the same thing right here at this corner. Draw a horizontal line, and then, whoa, now that's like the ceiling of the hallway. And that looks like we're definitely turning some sort of a corner. Okay, the door also has framing around it. That's why it's such a pain to fix your house if you're doing all this stuff yourself. So you're going to have to draw some framing. So put that little, you know, it's like a picture frame around the door, because they have that too. And go to your vanishing point 1. Okay, we have 2 minutes of class, so I am keeping an eye on the time. All right, so that is the frame for the door. And then do the same thing where you do the, you know, connect the corners. Okay, you could just do that at the top. This looks a little skinny. So I think I need to make that top part a little thicker. Okay. Sometimes when I use like my pencil starts getting dull, it gets less accurate. Doors go all the way down to the floor, of course. Okay. And let's just do something like, I'm going to draw 2 parallel vertical lines to represent my door. It could be a door that leads to the outside. It could be a door that leads to your own personal bathroom. Whatever you like. I'm going to make this particular one a closet. And a doorway does go closer to the top of the ceiling line. So I'm going to end the doorway maybe like right here, like that. And I'm using a vanishing point. So in order to draw that slanted line, I use vanishing point 1. So in this drawing, you're going to use vertical lines, horizontal lines, and vanishing point lines. So if you are, I'm going to reiterate this, if you're Art 2, you're also going to be doing this activity. Because it might have been a while since you did some perspective drawing, so you need a little bit of practice. Okay? I feel like that doorway is really, really large. Maybe it's just like, it's closer. I can say it's closer to me, but I just feel like it's humongous. Unless you have a giant opening for your, you know, closet, which is not a standard size opening. I'm going to make this look a little bit narrower because it looks a little bit way too wide as a door opening. I like the, leave a little wall there, so maybe I could put a little dresser or something else on there. And maybe make this top of this doorway just a tiny bit lower, because I still need to draw like a whole structure around it. And I'll tell you what that means in a second. Okay. Okay, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that now. So that's my closet. Put some molding either on the outside or the inside. We're going to put it on the inside because I don't want the door to look even bigger. So we're going to make the molding a little skinnier on this side and a little thicker on the left side. Why would I make things look a little thicker on the left side here? Why am I drawing this molding thicker than this molding over here on the other side of the same door? Why is that looking thicker there?
Because of the perspective of the drawing.
Right, because of the perspective, and because we are closer to this side of the door frame than that side. That one's further away or getting further away from us. Excellent. Is that you, Ayana?
Yes.
I'm good. I can recognize your voice now. All right. Now, I'm using the vanishing point line here to draw the top of the doorway. You shouldn't draw a line that goes straight across. Really, really common mistake that people make. You got to line up. Well, first of all, you're going to draw a point at the top of this inside vertical line. Just draw a little point right there. Line up that point with vanishing point 1 to draw a vanishing point line. Remember, the top of the doorway was drawn with a vanishing point 1 line, so the inside of the doorway top is going to be also drawn with vanishing point 1. All right, so if you wanted a closed door, all you would have to do at this point is to draw a doorknob about halfway down. Halfway down, because most people have to be able to reach the doorknob, even if they're a shorter person. You can't have a doorknob be all the way up here because that would just look really weird. So even that is standardized when people are buying doors, making doors, and building their homes. Their doorknobs, you can't just drill a doorknob anywhere. You got to put it about halfway down, so most people, even children, can not get trapped inside a room. But if you want the door to be open, there's a couple decisions that you have to make. Is the door going to open to the outside? Like, is the door going to swing out, or is it going to be swinging in? And if it swings in, then it's going to lay against this wall and take up wall space, okay? Also, how do we make this look more three-dimensional, right? So what I want to do here is make this door molding look a little bit three-dimensional by drawing an additional vertical line, not a real thick one, just a little skinny one. Right there, like that. Do you see that? So there's like a second line on the outside of the door frame, just on this side, because we can't see that on the other side. We can see it on this side though. And what we're going to do is, you see this line on the inside of the doorway? Extend that down just a little bit past the floor line. Okay? And then this one also, just a little bit past the floor line. Use the vanishing point 1 line. Okay? just a little bit. Extend it. And then from here to here, again up against the wall, I'm just going to draw a horizontal line. Okay, let me show you how that looks. I'm gonna draw this, finish drawing this, and then I'm gonna show it to you close up. You see that? All right. So these lines extend past this floor line a little bit. Use vanishing point line to draw this angle. This is actually just a horizontal line. It goes right to the back wall. And then you have the, floor line right there. Now what you want to do is we're trying to make this doorway look three-dimensional, right? So up at the top, you're just going to go from this corner here of the front of the door frame, and you're just going to draw a line going straight across. It's such a short line, just draw it by hand. And that finishes up the door frame on this side. If you look at your door frame, your walls have a certain amount of thickness. Your walls are not paper thin. There's a piece of drywall, there's some wood in between, and then there's like another piece of drywall on the other side. So that means that this door frame is going to have to, this is going to be a certain thickness. So from the inside here, inside corner line here, I want you to draw a horizontal line. And I want you to draw from wherever you end that horizontal line, I want you to draw another vertical line straight up like that. And I'm erasing my little my horizon line because I don't want this door frame to look like it is see-through. Okay? And this line right here at the bottom of the doorway, you want to get rid of that. So, okay, we're going to end it right here, and we'll go over this kind of doorway piece here tomorrow, and we're not done. We still have to finish up the top of the doorway. So we're going to end that right here, period 3. And I'll go over the doorway again if I lost anybody there, okay? Because I was going pretty fast and it's pretty technical right there. All right, I'm going to let you guys go to 4th period. Have a great day, everybody. Happy New Year, and I've got a lot of high hopes for this, marking period and this new year. So let's keep it positive. Does anybody have any questions about how to draw the floorboards, finding the center of the windows? Drawing the inside, corresponding insides of this little